Good evening, welcome back to the channel where it is time for Matchweek 28 predictions for the 2019-2020 Bundesliga season. Now our fixtures coming in thick and fast now. Obviously we have fixtures for tomorrow, and obviously there's one game that stands out from that. It is obviously der Klassiker, Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. Probably Borussia Dortmund's last chance to pose any threat to Bayern Munich at the top of the Bundesliga. So let's have a quick look at how we did last week. So obviously Bundesliga match week 27 was as follows. So for Hertha Berlin, Union Berlin went for a 2-0 win to Hertha Berlin. It finished 4-0 to Hertha Berlin. Story of that match really. Hertha Berlin scoring 2 goals in a minute, and then obviously getting a third and a fourth, which was very, very good as well. Mönchengladbach, Bayer Leverkusen went for a 3-2 win to Bayer Leverkusen. It finished 3-1. Very, very good performance from Bayer Leverkusen there. Wolfsburg against Dortmund. I said at the time this would be a very tricky test for Dortmund. They came out of it with flying colours, 2-0 win over there. Freiburg, Bremen. I went for a 1-0 win to Freiburg. It finished 1-0 to Bremen. So obviously right result, wrong way round, of course. Paderborn against Hoffenheim went for a 1-1 draw. It was a 1-1 draw, so first perfect score you could say, so that was very, very good. Bayern Munich against Eintracht Frankfurt went for a 3-0 win to Bayern Munich. It finished 5-2 to the Bavarians. Schalke against Augsburg went for a 1-1 draw, finished 3-0 to Augsburg in that one. Mainz 05 RB Leipzig went for a 2-1 win to RB Leipzig. It finished 5-0 to RB Leipzig. And FC Köln versus Düsseldorf, Fortuna Düsseldorf. I went for a 2-1 win to FC Köln, and I finished 2-2 in that one. As far as the comments were concerned, now obviously I got 8 points this week. So Shane O'Donnell, he got, let me just sort of work this out. So obviously he got 5 points. Bluebird Legend got 6 points, and Roberto got 6 points. So I managed to sort of win that game week. In total, though, there were a amount of 31 goals in the games this week. So very, very interesting. And it has to be said, the league table is looking very interesting now. It has to be said. So let's have a look at the league table. So as it stands, Bayern Munich lead the way on 61 points. Then it is Borussia Dortmund on 57 points. Leipzig moving up a couple of places here, 54 points. Bayer Leverkusen 53. Borussia Mönchengladbach on 52. So they dropped down from 3rd to 5th there. Then there's a big gap, as we all know. Wolfsburg 39. Freiburg and Schalke on 37. Hoffenheim on 36. And then FC Köln and Hertha Berlin are on 34. Augsburg and Union Berlin are on 30, Eintracht Frankfurt on 28, Mainz on 27, Fortuna Düsseldorf on 24, getting a good point, but we'll discuss later on that was 2 points dropped, has to be said. Werder Bremen getting a very, very good away win in the last round there at Freiburg. They're on 21, and SC Paderborn are 9 points adrift with 18. So it is looking like that Paderborn could potentially be relegated in the next few weeks. So there we go. So there's only one place to start with, and it is at the Signal Iduna Park, 5:30 tomorrow. It is Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. What a game this is going to be. Probably the last chance for Borussia Dortmund to pose any threat, as I've said, on Bayern Munich title hopes for sure. So obviously Borussia Dortmund won a very, very good away win against Wolfsburg, it has to be said. I said at the time that I thought this would be a very, very tricky test. And to be fair, Wolfsburg had their chances, but obviously they didn't take them. But Rafael Guerrero again, very, very good. Hakimi as well. You know, Dortmund have got some very, very good players, and obviously we did see a red card for Wolfsburg as well. But to their credit, Wolfsburg actually gave Dortmund a really, really good game. And, you know, Dortmund will go away thinking that, okay, it's a very, very good win. It's another clean sheet, so it's very, very good for them as well. So that was a very, very good win for Dortmund. Bayern Munich, on the other hand, well, it was looking very, very routine until obviously they went 3-0 up, and then obviously Frankfurt had 2 corners in succession and scored from them both. And Hinteregger had a very, very interesting game for sure for Eintracht Frankfurt. We'll come on to that very, very shortly. But you know, Bayern Munich managed to win in the end, and obviously goals from Goretzka. Goretzka's was an absolute beauty of a strike. Thomas Müller obviously had 1 denied last week at Union Berlin. And obviously Lewandowski. Who else? Lewandowski, as I said. And then obviously Alphonso Davies got 1, and there was an own goal as well. So Bayern Munich will be very pleased with that win, but defensively still looking a little bit suspect as well. So can Dortmund take advantage? Well, to believe it or not, I actually think, and I'm going to make this very, very interesting, I'm going to say that Dortmund will win their Klassiker. I know it was 4-0 in the earlier game between the sides earlier in the season, but I do think that Borussia Dortmund will win this game, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Borussia Dortmund in this game. It'd be very, very interesting, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Borussia Dortmund. And obviously, guys, get your predictions in as well. Obviously, get your predictions in for the very big game. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. So, very, very interesting indeed. And we have Bayer Leverkusen against Wolfsburg. Obviously, Wolfsburg coming away with a 2-0 defeat against Borussia Dortmund. And obviously, Bayer Leverkusen winning 3-1 in a very tasty game, it had to be said, against Mönchengladbach. Mönchengladbach gave Leverkusen a really, really good game. But Leverkusen's class in the end. Kai Havertz again. This guy has been very, very good. 10 goals in 17 games this season. He's on absolutely fire. And whoever gets him next season is getting a gem of a player, because he is a very, very good goal scorer. And obviously he nearly missed his penalty, but obviously he's still got a 100% record from penalties, so that's very, very good for him. But Bayer Leverkusen played really, really well, passed the ball really, really well against Mönchengladbach. And, you know, it was a very, very good game, very entertaining. You know, I really, really enjoyed Bayer Leverkusen's performance, and it was very, very good. Wolfsburg, on the other hand, like I said, they gave Dortmund a really, really hard game. And obviously they did get a red card, which I think it was debatable, but you can understand why it was a red card. Obviously, it was a late challenge. But obviously, you know, VAR have obviously said that was a red card. So, you know, that's one thing you could say. But it was a bit of a strange decision for me. So, obviously, Leverkusen going really, really well. Wolfsburg, obviously, I know they won at Augsburg, and then obviously lose to Dortmund. I'm going to go for Leverkusen to continue their recent good form. And, you know, Leverkusen are playing really, really well at the moment. And I think they'll win by the same scoreline as they did at the weekend against Mönchengladbach. Going to go for a 3-1 win to Leverkusen in this game. Looking forward to that game as well, and it should be a good one. Leverkusen 3, Wolfsburg 1. Eintracht Frankfurt against Freiburg. Both of these sides on the end of defeats in the last game week. Obviously, Frankfurt losing 5-2 in the end to Bayern Munich. But for a time, they were really, really testing Bayern Munich, there has to be said. Freiburg lost 1-0 to Bremen. Had a goal ruled out very, very late on as well by VAR because of an offside. So, you know, that they would have potentially been, obviously got a 1-1 draw in that game. But Frankfurt, has to be said, they played very, very well against Bayern Munich. Obviously, the first half, it was a bit of a difficult half for them, but obviously, you know, they came back into it, and, you know, 2 early goals in the second half, obviously from the big centre back Hinteregger, who had a bit of well, it was a bit of a topsy turvy game, because obviously he got 2 goals for his club, and then obviously scored the own goal that gave Bayern Munich the 5-2 victory. But no, it was a very, very good performance from Hinteregger, but unfortunately, he had a mixed game. Obviously 2 goals, and like I said, he got the OG as well. But you know, Frankfurt are a good side, good attacking players that they have, and going to be a very interesting game, because obviously Freiburg, they lost 1-0 to Bremen at the weekend, and you know, obviously, like I've said, they did have a late goal ruled out. Obviously, both of these sides, they are quite close in the table, has to be said. I can't separate them in this game. I really, really can't. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between the sides, Frankfurt and Freiburg. I do think that that'll be a very, very interesting game. I think a draw is written all over this game, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in the game. Werder Bremen against Borussia Mönchengladbach now. Obviously, both of these sides, obviously Bremen got a 1-0 win, so they put more pressure on Düsseldorf and obviously Mainz, who sit in 17th at this moment in time. Mönchengladbach losing 3-1 to Bayer Leverkusen. But it has to be said that Mönchengladbach, they were very, very unlucky against Bayer Leverkusen. Coming to Bremen first, obviously a very, very good away win against Freiburg. Obviously had to defend a lot, but obviously they had to deal with 10 men as well. On the, I think it was the 79th minute, I think they got a player sent off. So the last 10 minutes, obviously they were bombarded with crosses by Freiburg, but very, very good from Bremen, and obviously a 1-0 win. It's obviously put pressure now on the teams above them, and it's obviously rooted SC Paderborn more to the bottom now, and all Bremen have to do now is basically just win games, because like I said, they were Champions League regulars until 2011, so that's one thing you could say for Bremen for sure. Mönchengladbach, although they lost 3-1, you can see the attacking threat that they have, obviously with Plea, with Marcus Thuram, obviously got the goal against Leverkusen, was very, very good as well. They are a very, very good attacking team, Mönchengladbach. Very, very entertaining to watch. And you know what? They are in the race for the Champions League space, and I think they will probably get a Champions League space as well, because they have got a little bit of a cushion from them, and obviously Wolfsburg as well. But Bremen coming back at home. Obviously they lost 4-1 to Bayer Leverkusen the previous week. I do think Mönchengladbach have got a little bit too much for them in this game. Going to go for a 3-1 win to Mönchengladbach. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game, but I think Mönchengladbach will be coming out on top in this one by 3-1. RB Leipzig versus Hertha Berlin. Obviously RB Leipzig won 5-0 against Mainz, and obviously Hertha Berlin were 4-0 winners over Union Berlin in the derby. RB Leipzig, it was a very easy afternoon, has to be said. Timo Werner getting a hat-trick, Sabitzer getting the other one, and obviously Yusuf Poulsen as well. But to be fair, Leipzig had a very easy afternoon, and it could have been more than 5-0. Because they had so many chances. I think Werner had a couple of other chances, so he could have had 4, he could have had 5, but very, very good performance from RB Leipzig. And Timo Werner, obviously everyone is saying that he is potentially Liverpool bound, but he's obviously not showing any signs of not trying, and he's been very, very good for Leipzig for sure. Hertha Berlin 4-0 against Union Berlin. Very, very good performance in the derby. Obviously it came to life. Obviously they scored 2 very quick fire goals, and obviously it was a very, very easy win in the end. And Marcus Cunha has been very, very good as well. Very, very good as well. Also Boyata at the back was absolutely solid as well. Marko Grujic as well. I know he gets yellow cards for fun, but he was controlling that midfield for Hertha Berlin. So really hard one to call this one, because obviously both sides are in very, very good form. Obviously Hertha Berlin, obviously 3-0 away to Hoffenheim, and then obviously 4-0 against Union Berlin. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But I'm just thinking with Leipzig's form, and they're wanting to catch obviously the top 2, they'll be hoping for a draw in their Klassiker to stand any chance of catching the top 2. But I do think Leipzig will win this one. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Leipzig. So it'll be a very interesting game for sure for that one. But yeah, going to go for a 2-1 win to Leipzig in the game. Hoffenheim against FC Köln. Hoffenheim had a 1-1 draw with Paderborn. FC Köln were involved in a 2-2 classic with Fortuna Düsseldorf. Had to come back from 2 goals down, and they managed to get the 90th minute equaliser, which was very, very good. Hoffenheim, they had their chances, it has to be said, but defensive frailties again at the back, really, really poor, very, very poor defensive mistake, and obviously it was a very good goal from the Paderborn centre forward, curled it into the corner, but you know, it was very, very poor defending. And do you know what? It's going to be a very, very interesting game because obviously, like I've said, FC Köln came back 2 goals down against Fortuna Düsseldorf, got a 2-2 draw. But yeah, obviously Timo Horn kept Cologne in it, and it was it's a very, very good point in the end. And you know, obviously Düsseldorf, it's going to be very, very interesting to see, like obviously with FC Cologne, how they're going to actually, you know, deal with that. But no, well done to FC Cologne. So how do I see this one going? I'm going to go for another entertaining game. I'm going to go for a couple of goals in this game. But I'm going to go for another Desmond. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between Hoffenheim and FC Köln. I think it'll be a very, very interesting game. But I'm going to go for a 2-2 in this game. Fortuna Düsseldorf against Schalke. Fortuna Düsseldorf, like I've said, 2-2 against FC Köln. 2 points dropped. They were 2-0 up and then obviously lost 2-0 lead. Schalke, dear. 1 win in 9 games now for Schalke, and it's you know, David Wagner is definitely under pressure for sure. Credit to Düsseldorf, they played very, very well against FC Köln. Obviously got the 2-0 lead, but didn't see it out in the end. And unfortunately, you know, that is the part and parcel of being in that obviously playoff spot that they really want to get out of. Is Düsseldorf as well. Uwe Rosler will be, well, I think the saying is that he will be very, very annoyed at losing a 2-goal lead against FC Köln. Really, really disappointing. And defensively, again, Düsseldorf were not very, very good. But you have to say, Düsseldorf were very, very interesting team they are. But they were very, very good against FC Köln, and very, very disappointing to obviously lose a 2-goal lead. Schalke, dearie me, the defensive frailties in that Schalke team is ridiculous at this moment in time. Obviously it was Schubert the last week, but defensively again really, really poor from Schalke. And yeah, 1 win in 9 games for David Wagner's Schalke. It's not been good, and they are looking above their shoulder because obviously, you know, teams will catch Schalke. But I don't think they'll go down. So, how do I see this one going? Well, like I've said, Schalke 1 win in 9. Düsseldorf obviously going away to Cologne, getting a 2-2 draw. They'll be disappointed with that. I am backing Düsseldorf to bounce back in this game, and it's going to pile the pressure on David Wagner. It'll probably be 1 win in 10 games for them. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Fortuna Düsseldorf, and that would definitely open up a chance for them to get out of that relegation playoff spot for sure. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Düsseldorf and pile the pressure on Schalke. Augsburg against Paderborn. Augsburg won 3-0 away at Schalke. Very, very good performance from them. Paderborn got a 1-1 draw with Hoffenheim. Yeah, Augsburg, probably a very easy afternoon for them. Very, very good performance. You know, they could have had a lot more, but yeah, they really, really, you know, piled the pressure on Schalke in that game and capitalised on some really poor defending from Schalke, and they were very clinical in front of goal. So they're obviously coming back in their home. Obviously, they lost 2-1 at against Wolfsburg, the last home game. So they'll be hoping to definitely improve. The visitors, obviously, Paderborn, they have had a 1-1 draw with Hoffenheim. A very, very classy goal from their centre forward. Obviously, got the ball from a bit of a defensive mistake from the Hoffenheim defender, and basically just curled it right into the back of the net. Very, very good finish from them. But it's wins that Paderborn need. They are running out of games now to obviously get these wins. They are running out of time So unfortunately, I am going to go for another win for Augsburg. I think Augsburg will win this one, and obviously Paderborn will be definitely rooted at the bottom. I mean, looking at the fixtures that they're coming up, we've got Borussia Dortmund next at home. You wouldn't expect them to get anything from that, so that's one thing you could say. But it's going to be a very interesting game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Augsburg to pile more pressure on Paderborn for sure. And the final game of the midweek games is Union Berlin against Mainz. Obviously, both of these sides coming off heavy defeats, it has to be said. Union Berlin coming off a 4-0 defeat in the Berlin derby to Hertha, and Mainz losing 5-0 to RB Leipzig. Yeah, Union Berlin hit by the sucker punch. 2 goals in a minute. Very, very poor. Very, very poor. Kind of blown away against Hertha. But I have to say that their goalkeeper did keep them in the game for sure. So going to be very, very interesting to see how well they sort of bounce back. And again, Mainz, it was an easy afternoon, like I said, for Leipzig. Disappointing from obviously Union Berlin, disappointing from Mainz as well. So that's another thing you could say for sure. So tricky one to call because of obviously where both teams are in the league. You'd obviously fancy Berlin, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this game. I just think both teams definitely need to get something after really heavy defeats in this one. But it's the Bundesliga. There is definitely shocks among the cards here. So, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And yeah, that obviously wraps up match week 28. So that will be very, very interesting to see. Obviously, these games are on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then obviously I've got another game on Friday as well, which is very, very interesting. So yeah, I'll be obviously back on Thursday with my match week 29 predictions. So obviously I'll need to I'm going to obviously miss their Klassiker because I'm obviously at work, which is really, really annoying. But I will obviously be keeping an eye out on these games. So just very, very quickly. Just be very, very, very quickly. So, I'm going to go Borussia Dortmund 2, Bayern Munich 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3, Wolfsburg 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Freiburg 1, Werder Bremen 1, Borussia Mönchengladbach 3, Leipzig 2, Hertha Berlin 1, Hoffenheim 2, FC Köln 2, Düsseldorf 2, Schalke 0, apologies for my pronunciation, Augsburg 2, Paderborn 1, and Union Berlin 1, Mainz 1. So that is it. That is match week 28 done and dusted. So before I go, obviously I want to have a few shout outs, obviously. So go and subscribe to Bluebird Legend, because obviously he and obviously Paul and Nathan over there, they obviously do their German predictions as well. I will leave their description in the description below as well. Also subscribe to Roberto Hollis, who also does Bundesliga predictions, and obviously Johnny does Bundesliga as well. Obviously go over to and subscribe to him. I will leave all their descriptions in the description below. All you basically have to do is basically just go over there and subscribe if you like your Bundesliga. And obviously for the games, I will leave a template in there, and all you basically have to do is just put your predictions in the comment section or in the live chat, obviously with the premiere as well. So let me know your predictions for these games. Yeah, games are coming thick and fast. Games are coming thick and fast. Obviously they want to finish this league by the middle of June, and you know, it is looking like it could potentially happen. So, and obviously this is match week 28, and obviously there are 34 match weeks. So you know, we've not got long now. Not got long. Six. Let me just think. Yes, yeah, six game weeks left. So plenty of points to play for. 30 points to play for, definitely. Sorry, 24 points to play for. Sorry. I should say. So that is going to be very, very interesting as well. But yes, guys, thank you very much for watching. And if you do like my content, then please hit that subscribe button. Obviously, closing in on 300. If we can get there before the end of the month, that'd be fantastic. But obviously, I will keep on bringing content out. Smash a like on this video as well, and leave your predictions for the games as well, especially Der Klassiker, Borussia Dortmund against Bayern
Munich. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the football. I'm going to miss every single game tomorrow because obviously of work. But enjoy your Bundesliga midweek, guys. And yeah, we shall see what happens. Can Dortmund beat Bayern? Be very, very interesting to see. But shall see what happens. But thank you very much for watching. And I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Auf Wiedersehen.